Hello and welcome back to episode 3 of All About Gaming. I'm your host Joe at _water on Twitter, and this episode we're here, we're back. Okay, so we're going to start off with gaming news and then we're going to talk about PlayStation 5 and things like that. So the first thing I'm going to do is get the pad out and all my notes of this week's gaming news. So let's get started with the gaming news. Right, Assassin's Creed Valhalla has sold over 3.6 million units in its first week. That's pretty damn impressive, isn't it? I think that makes it the best-selling Assassin's Creed game ever. That's off the top of my head. I'm not sure the facts in that one. Can you let me know if I'm right? But yeah, that's 3 points. I'm well impressed. I've not actually started it yet terribly. I really want to start it, but there's just so many other games I wanted to cover first that I thought I would come back to Assassin's Creed, but that's definitely on my list. I own it, so it's definitely on my list. Speaking of, we're sticking to sales for a minute. The PlayStation sold 118,000 units in 4 days in Japan. The Xbox sold 21,000 units in 6 days in Japan. We don't actually have the figures for the rest of the world. So that's kind of what a hint we get from Japan, from places like Famitsu and the sort of Japanese chart track. I can't remember what it's called, the Japanese chart track. It'll come back to me one day. Miles Morales was the best-selling game in Japan. So there we go. There's some other stats here. The Xbox Series X net sold through approximately 155,000 units in its first week, and 2/3 were Series X consoles. Now that's for the UK, so just to separate that last part, the Xbox Series X and S sold through around 155,000 units in its first week in the UK. 2/3 of those sales were for the Series X console, which makes sense, really, doesn't it? For some comparison's sake, on its first week, the PlayStation 4 sold 250,000 units and the Xbox One sold 150,000 units. So it sold about 5,000 units more than the Xbox One did. But again, we don't know how many units were available of each and stuff like that. So it's possibly not a fair comparison, but it's round about the same as what the Xbox One sold. But like I say, we don't really know how much was available. By the looks of things, you can't get them anywhere. You can't get PlayStation 5 anywhere. You can't get Xbox Series X everywhere. And I see everyone on Twitter wanting both. So it's going to be a while, I think, before sort of supply meets demand. Other gaming news, THQ has acquired Purple Lamp, which is the team behind SpongeBob SquarePants, some Sea of Thieves content, and they also worked on Guild 3. Embracer Group, which owns THQ and a bunch of other studios like Koch Media and other publishers as well, now has around 46 development studios and 190 IPs, and apparently it's in talks with about another 100 developers to acquire them as well. So Embracer Group, THQ, is going to be absolutely huge. It must already be the biggest publisher out there. It's absolutely massive. I'm sure a lot of the IPs are probably not really well known or whatever, but there are quite a few well known ones. I mean, if you think Saints Row and Metro, things like that. So it'll be quite interesting to see what IPs they've got. Oh, Darksiders as well. I love Darksiders. It'll be quite interesting to see what IP they've got sort of bubbling for PS5. We'll soon find out because some of those 190 IPs must be getting announced as games soon. I know some will already be out, but I'm just saying there must be some new games in there somewhere, mustn't there? So that'll be quite interesting. Star Wars Squadron is to get B-Wings and TIE Defenders in December. I'm waiting for this. I've talked about Star Wars Squadrons before, and I actually think it's a really good game. So it's nice to see it still getting supported, and I'm quite happy to see new ships come and stuff. So I'll definitely be checking that out. They've also reworked the Foster Haven map for battle fleets and dogfight modes. I've not really played any online in Star Wars Squadrons, but I should I probably should, but with PlayStation 5 being out and all these new games, it's a bit difficult, isn't it, to actually get round to playing games that are a wee bit older, but I will get back to it, promise. Promise, yay, promise. Okay, IO Interactive, is that what they're called? Yeah, IO Interactive have teased a new Bond game. Now there wasn't much to see, it was just a little tease, but it looks like we're getting a new Bond game, which could be quite cool, especially if they learn from what they've been doing with Hitman and stuff. It could actually be quite good, couldn't it? So let's hope we see more about that soon. It's obviously going to look awesome. A new Bond game. That could be good. I'm looking forward to find out more about that. Let me just make sure I've not missed any news here because I've got so much on this list of I don't want to miss anything. Right, here we go. Generation defining games in 2023. Jim Ryan, in an interview, said that Sony's PlayStation 5 generation defining games probably won't start arriving until 2023. So I'm guessing that the likes of Horizon and God of War, which are maybe coming next year, aren't quite generation defining. Perhaps they're still coming to PS4 as well, so that's what it means, maybe, or maybe it just means the developers, like Naughty Dog and all that, need time to really get used to the system before they're going to be able to make these pure amazing mind-blowing games. Because PS4 and PS3 are a perfect example of that. It sort of was later into the generation before these games really started to blow your mind on it. And I mean, let's face it, some of the IP on PlayStation 4 was just absolutely outstanding. So it's quite nice to know that they'll be working on these amazing games and that will, as the system gets older, the games will get better. So yeah, looking forward to that as well. He also said in, I'm not sure if it was the same interview, but he also said in an interview that Sony has got news to come on a rival to Game Pass. Now, this is curious because he also said in a previous interview that Sony wouldn't try and rival Game Pass because their games are too expensive to make, so there's no way they could make money if they were to do that. So I don't know if this was lost in translation or whatever, what he said here, or if Sony really are working on a sort of answer to Game Pass. I mean, they've got PlayStation Now already, so I guess it's possible what they could do is just go, right, let's make PlayStation Now have some first party games now and again. I don't know. Or maybe they're just going to do something completely and utterly different. Who knows? Who knows? But that's quite curious. So we'll see what happens there. The Last of Us Part 2, sorry, the dog's barking. The Last of Us Part 2 has been signed up for a season on HBO. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Now, I've got a feeling my wife will be more excited about this than me because she loves zombie movies and sort of zombie things, got Walking Dead and all that. So she'll be pure like, oh, zombies. I mean, she's not really into games or anything, but I know she's going to like this because obviously all the clickers and all that and the horror. I'll be hiding behind the sofa and she'll be watching it. But yeah, either way, I'm quite excited. I think that's going to be pretty cool seeing that, especially it comes from writer Craig Mazin. I hope I said that right. He's going to be like the writer producer, and he also wrote and produced on Chernobyl, which was a really good program. So it's good to see they've got someone like that on board, and it will also be written by Neil Druckmann as well. So it's good to see someone from the studios joining in as well. So yeah, it could be good. Oh, okay, sorry about that. Always away in it. You're doing a podcast and the doorbell rings. I'm not one for editing it out. So, well, I edited out me going to the door and then coming back again because I just didn't want you to sit there waiting on me. So, but yeah, there we go. Anyway, right. Last of Us. Uh, I can't even say this right. Variable refresh rate. Quite a few people on Twitter have been moaning that it's not really available on the PlayStation at the moment. It's not really mega needed yet because not a lot of people on TVs that have it. But apparently Sony says that variable refresh rate is coming in a future firmware update. So to the people who are moaning about it, you're going to get it. So stop moaning. Yes, exactly. Okay, Red Dead Redemption. What is wrong with me today? I can't speak. Red Dead Redemption Outlaws Edition has been spotted on Amazon. Apparently, it's an enhanced version for next gen, which will include a remake of the original game, Red Dead Redemption. Hmm. I don't know. I read the description of this and I'm thinking, well, isn't it just an enhanced version of Red Dead Redemption? Is actually the original game included in there? I'm not sure. I'm not sure at all. I guess we'll see, won't we? I'm not 100% sure. Uh, Spider-Man updates out now. Spider-Man Remastered. Now, it's a bit complicated to do this, but to explain it rather than to do it, it's quite easy to do. But what you do is you go into Spider-Man PS4, you go onto your save, onto where the save files are listed, and then you push R1 to upload your save on the PS4, and then you go into the game on PS5, load up the game, go to the same save file where the saves are all listed and push R1 to download the file that you've just uploaded from the PS4 game. The minute you do that and load the game, all your trophies pop, which is brilliant. Quite a few people said to me, nah, the trophies won't be shared, they won't pop. So it's quite good that they did decide to pop. Yes, I'm really pleased about that. So, why does my computer keeps beeping at me and it's annoying me? Sorry. Anyway, professional. Yeah, so it's good the trophies pop in Spider-Man. Absolutely brilliant. Really liked it. Really. Oh, why is everyone interrupting me today? Sorry, the person. It's Tuesday, the 24th of November, 2020. I know what date is, Siri. You don't need to tell me. Just go away, please. I'm trying to do a podcast here. Thank you. Anyway, now that Siri's sharp. Oops, I shouldn't have said that, should I? She'll come back again. Right, phew, got away with it. Anyway, it's great that the trophies pop. Absolutely brilliant. I'm real pleased about that. Couldn't be more pleased because I completed the game and I was about 89% complete. I just had to go back and do the extra bits and I hadn't really finished them. So I'm really pleased it gives me an excuse to play Spider-Man Remastered and go back and check it out and also completely finish the game as well. So yeah, real pleased about that. Okay. Right, we talked about that. We're getting there with gaming news, just a wee bit to go. And speaking of which, the gaming news that we're going to talk about now is the charts. Call of Duty is this week's number one. Miles Morales is the best-selling PS5 game at retail, followed by Call of Duty, Assassin's Creed, and Demon's Souls. But for this week in the charts, Call of Duty is number one. I've got kind of two charts here. You see, I don't know if I can't really show you on the playpad because it probably won't show you. But basically, I've got two charts. One is the PS5 launch title chart, and one is this week's charts. This week's charts go like Call of Duty, FIFA 21, Marvel Miles Morales, Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Fortnite. There's your top five. On the PlayStation launch lineup chart, I've got Miles Morales as the best-selling game. Call of Duty Black Ops is number two, best-selling game for PlayStation 5. Assassin's Creed is number three. Demon's Souls is number four. And Sackboy: A Big Adventure is number five. So there you go. There's your gaming charts. And finally, our final piece of gaming news. Well, is it news? It's just a kind of nice to know thing rather than news. Thank you, Dan, my former podcast host on Square XO, for pointing this one out. But did you know that if you go to Profile Games on your PlayStation 5, you can see the time that you've played on your PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 4 games, which I think's pretty cool. So basically, you go in there, look at your game, and you'll see how many hours you've played, which I think's brilliant. It's really nice to know how many hours you've wasted playing a game in it. So, oh, thanks, I've just spent 40 hours on a game. I really wanted to know that. Oh, well, never mind. It's good to know, and it is good to know. Anyway, let's talk about PlayStation 5. Right, okay. If you've been watching my channel, you probably know that I've already done a video for Astro's Playroom, Spider-Man Miles Morales, and recently Sackboy: Big Adventure as well. So let's just talk. Should we talk about them first, or we should talk about PlayStation 5 first? Let's talk about them first. Yeah, let's do that. Okay, so Astrobot is amazing in it. I absolutely love it. I think it's absolutely brilliant. It's just a really nostalgic, well-made game, and you can tell the people who made it just absolutely love PlayStation because it's all these references everywhere to PlayStation, and I really, really like it. I just think it's clever. The way the controller's made to work with it, the speaker and the controller, the way you want the controller, they've got references to things like Loco Roco, Ghost of Tsushima, and all this sort of levels, the level design and the different ways you can play as well. I like that spring level when you sort of spring. I can't remember what the level's called, but you just sort of spring up all the platforms using the uh, motion controls. That's the word I was looking for, and the haptic feedback and all that to sort of judge how to jump and stuff like that. That's a cracking level. I love that level. Uh, but there's loads, isn't there? There's loads of levels. I even like the little sort of pulley machine where you sort of grab the ball and crush it, and then you can spend your coins getting these different things that you unlock uh, for your playroom. And the playroom itself is brilliant, isn't it? You go in the playroom and then you've got all the things you've collected, got the PlayStations and all the accessories and things like that. It's just a cracking game, man. If you've not played it, then get on it, man, because it's brilliant. Uh, what else? Miles Morales. Let's talk about that briefly as well. Obviously, I've talked about these in our videos, so you can go watch them if you want to on my channel. But Miles Morales is great. The story, I think the story's actually really good. It's sort of a lot tighter than the original Spider-Man, because the original Spider-Man would sort of go off, and because it was a bit longer, it would go off and you do different things and get more of a sort of introduction almost to what's going on. Whereas this one, the story's a lot sort of punchier is a good word for it, I think. And you sort of, it seems to go a lot faster and you get into the action a lot quicker. And as the game goes on, there's just so much more action. And as I said in my video as well, the action's amazing. It's got so well choreographed and it's just it's just so hard to explain how good it is until you see it in front of you. And the graphics are brilliant. I love that it's set at Christmas. I love that the ray tracing and the Christmas lights and everything just shining off the ground and sort of the reflections of yourself when you're walking past a window and stuff. I mean, I've been using ray tracing on Watch Dogs on my PC, and I think that's really good. That's really impressive. But I mean, even Spider-Man, I have to say the ray tracing is impressive even compared to my PC. The PC is probably better because it's just a more expensive graphics card, so it's just sort of got more about it. But still, it's still brilliant graphics. So I'm really impressed with that. And there goes my phone ringing now. Doing well today, aren't we? Anyway, phone bit, edited out. Parcel phone. Any more interruptions today? Okay, Sackboy. What a great little game that is. It's so good. Again, I've done a video on this, but I have to say I hadn't really completed it when I done the video. It was just sort of quick impressions after playing for 3 hours. But the more you play, the better it gets. It's such a good little game. It's really good. So Sackboy, Astrobot, Miles Morales. That's what I've played so far on PlayStation 5. I've also played another one, but I'm going to not talk about that now. I'll talk about that later. It's not embargoed or anything, but I just would rather just leave it till next week so that I've got something else to talk about. But yeah, uh, it's a great game, Sackboy. It's really fun. I played it in co-op with my youngest son and we had fun playing it, but I even played it in my own. I've been playing it in my own and I've quite enjoyed it actually. It's just a nice little pick up and play game that you can just play a level, sort of turn it off, come back later, play another level. So yeah, that's really good. Again, you can watch my video, you can find out more about what I've got to say about it. But yeah, I really like it. It's a cool game, and now I just can't wait to play more games. I've still got Bug Snacks to check out, and I'll do a video on that as well. But I'm not really sure what to expect from Bug Snacks. I mean, I've kind of avoided all the sort of people talking about it and stuff, so I don't really know much about it. So it's going to be interesting. Maybe I won't like it. I get the feeling I'm not going to like it. I'm not going to bother playing Pathless. Uh, so after I've done the videos I've got to do, I think I'll maybe move on to Assassin's Creed just before Cyberpunk comes out, because I'm probably going to check out Cyberpunk at launch. But then again, I don't know what to do, because Cyberpunk on PC, ray tracing, would look awesome, but I kind of like playing my games on PlayStation uh, PlayStation 5, but I don't want to get Cyberpunk on PlayStation 5 for now because it's only the PS4 version, and you've got to wait next year for the PS5 version. So you really want to play a sort of lower standard version and wait to play a better version. See, I don't know, so I'm not sure whether to get it in PC and play it now or just wait for the PlayStation 5 version because I've got Assassin's Creed to keep me busy, so I don't really know what to do. I'm a bit stuck on that one. I'm putting Cyberpunk under undecided for now. Undecided where to play it on PC or PS5, that is. Okay, and speaking of PS5, let's talk about it. I've been looking forward to this. Now, you saw my video. Again, I've been busy with all these videos, as you can tell, but you saw my video on unboxing the PlayStation 5, and I was well excited about doing it. And now I've finally had time to spend with it, and I think it is brilliant. I absolutely love this thing. It's so good. The DualSense controller is amazing. I really love it. It's my favorite controller ever made. Without a shadow of a doubt, it's comfortable to hold, but it's just all the little features in it. The haptic feedback's brilliant. It's really impressive. I talked earlier about that spring level in Astrobot, and that's where the haptic really stands out. When you actually push it down, it actually feels like you're pushing a spring. It's got crazy good. It's got so I'd really like to try it in games where the triggers are using haptic feedback, like shooters and stuff. Now I know Deathloop's going to be doing this, making use of it. Uh, and also, I've not really noticed it as much though in Spider-Man Miles Morales. The haptic feedback's a bit weak in that. I don't know if that's purposefully. I don't know. Sackboy, again, the haptics, I've not really noticed them. They're quite subtle in that as far as I can tell. But yeah, an Astrobot, they've done a really good job of showing off the controller. And actually, I did ask on Twitter, let me just get this up now. I did ask people on Twitter what their favourite feature was of the uh, PlayStation 5. And quite a few people mentioned the controller. Here's Andy King of Scots. He said definitely got to be the controller. It's a game changer, better graphics, faster load times, etc. all given, but controller changes the game. Yeah, I totally agree with that. Uh, Matt Adcock, Cleric 20, he says the DualSense controller, definitely one of his favourite features. And quite a few other people have mentioned the controller as well. But speaking of which, I may as well mention some of the other things that people like about the console. Uh, Law of Law says, is it wrong I'm appreciating being told my playtime in games? That feature I mentioned earlier that you can find out your sort of playtime, which is quite cool. John Blades, he said, there's not one outstanding feature, but a mixture of many great features such as the SSD, backwards compatibility, the controller. Oh, and Astro's played him. Yes, one of the coolest things PlayStation has ever done. I would tend to agree with that. Uh, Atani, he said that not making the room into a sauna and the console being quieter. Yes, that's a fair point. Actually, the PlayStation 5 is very, very quiet. I've got it sitting right next to me here, and you can't hear it. You can't hear a whisper near you can. It's amazing how quiet it is. And actually, I think it looks quite nice as well. But I mean, I suppose that's subjective. A lot of people think, oh, it's not a very nice console, is it? It's huge. It is huge. I'll agree there. But I think it's actually a really nice looking console. It kind of reminds you of sort of a building in London or something. The sort of architecture. If it was a building, everybody would be talking about it. Do you know what I mean? Going, oh wow, have you seen that building? That's kind of what the PlayStation 5 is like. There's some other things people like about the PlayStation here. The real Timmy, he said how quickly you get into games from a cold start. He says bonus points if it keeps the game paused and you start off exactly where you left off. And Hez when is that a B? Hez when B said that just love the instant loading and being able to seamlessly export to the UI without any freezing or lag. He says it still feels strange. It does, doesn't it? Because you're kind of used to the PS4 loading everything and you're waiting there going, come on, load my thumbnails, will you? And it's just all instant. Everything about it is instant. It's just such a good console. I love it so much. I'm well impressed. It's very, very, very good. I have to say. And you know what else I like that probably not a lot of people, no one here mentioned it. I really like the cards. I've seen a lot of people say, "Oh, what's the point of them? They're a waste of time." But not to me. I've used them. I used them in Astro to sort of look at the trophies, and look to sort of find the hidden secrets and stuff. 'Cause I thought I would try that out a few times, and it's really good. I mean, just imagine that in a game that is really hard, and you're sort of going into the hints and getting the hints right there on the console with a press of a button. Absolutely brilliant. And I really like those cards. I think they could be put to use really well by developers. So it'd be great to see what people come up with if they decide to use them. But I really hope they do. I really hope they use the haptic feedback, all the developers as well, because it really is a game changer. It's absolutely brilliant. What else? Oh, there's one more feature I like that no one's mentioned. I don't know if when you turn on your PlayStation 5 and you notice there's this notification that normally pops up and it says take back the lead. I absolutely love that. That's making me go into games more. Like it does it with Little Big Planet, sorry, Sackboy, and it does it with Astrobot. That again, referencing back to the Springy level, which is actually been quite handy to mention in this episode because I keep referring back to it. The springy level in Astrobot is actually a time trial level as well, so you can complete the level really fast, as fast as you can. I think my record's somewhere around 40 odd seconds, and then you turn off your PlayStation, forget about it, then you turn the PlayStation back on, it says retake back the lead because all these people in your friends list have played the game, beat your score, and then you're like, oh, you shit. And you're like, I want my time back, I want my score back. So you push the button, yes, I want to retake back the lead. Yeah, man, come on, I want to beat your score because I'm so competitive with that. And I just press the button and you're in it instantly. It's even faster than loading the game up manually. You just click yes, retake back lead, boom, you're right in that level. 3, 2, 1, off you go. And then about 40, well, hopefully 30 seconds later, you've beat their score. So yeah, brilliant. That feature's excellent. I want to know if you like that feature because I can't be the only one that says retake back the lead. Let me know if you like that feature in the comments or on Twitter @_what. I really want to know because I think that's probably one of my favourite features of the console. I just love that sort of competitive thing built right into it. I'm trying to think what else I like about it. There's so much. I've not tried the picture-in-picture where you can watch your friend play, but my oldest son, he's got a PlayStation 5, and I went in his room the other day, and he was playing Demon Souls, which looks absolutely fantastic, by the way. It looks amazing, that does. But yeah, he was playing that, and then I went back in a few minutes later, and it was still on the screen. But I said to him, "You still playing that?" He's gone, "No, no, that's my friend playing." He was watching his friend now, full screen still. It just is fantastic. And then he sort of brought it down a bit, and you can sort of see he was able to play while his friend was playing. So that's a pretty good feature. I mean, I've not tried that. I have to be honest, because I don't generally play online, but I thought it is quite a good feature. That is. Uh, the Pulse headsets that they're nice as well. The 3D audio that you can really tell with that 3D audio. That's another crank feature. It's really nice. It works really well. I mean, especially in games like Spiderman stuff, you can just hear all around you. You can hear where things are coming from. So yeah, that's another thing I really like. Oh, there's just so much about it. The little notice bar along the bottom when you push a button. I really also like the reworked screenshots, the share button, where you just push share button and you get the little menu along the bottom and you can instantly take a screenshot, instantly share them, things like that. Just everything about it. I don't know if there's much that I dislike about it really. I'm sure there's little niggly things, I guess, like if you push the info on the game, you can't. I, I don't think you can see what was in an update anymore. I think I'm pretty sure on the PlayStation 4, if you went into the update, you could get the latest patch notes, whereas that's not there. There is a bit to check for the game update, but there's no info on what the latest patch was. So I kind of missed that because that's something I quite like to look at. Uh, I think there was some. I think you could also access the trophies for that game in that same menu as well on PlayStation 4, but you can't now. So it's just little niggly things like that that's maybe could be improved, but I'm sure that'll all come in a update. But for a sort of launch day console, there's just so much to love about it. I just think it's absolutely brilliant. It's really, really good. Really impressed. So yeah, PlayStation 5, good job. Good job indeed. Absolutely top console so far, and I'm really enjoying my time with it. Okay, so yeah, I think that's all I've got to say today. I've rabbited on about it. To be honest, I could probably keep rabbiting on for ages about PlayStation 5, but what's the point of that? But yeah, I'm really, really impressed as the sort of summary of that. Okay, so I hope you decide to keep listening to the podcast in the future. This is episode 3. It's now on iTunes. It's now on Spotify. No, it's not on Spotify. Sorry, not on Spotify yet. It's on iTunes. It's on Google Podcasts. It's on Amazon Music. TuneIn. Did I say Google Podcasts? I probably did. It's basically everywhere but Spotify. You can even say, Alexa, better not say that too loud, play the latest episode of All About Gaming, and she'll do it. How amazing is that? I'm well impressed with that. Yeah, so feeling quite positive about it all, and I'm really enjoying doing it. So please listen, please like and subscribe to the channel. Check out the videos that I've done. Check out the videos that are coming soon. Thank you very much for listening to this episode, and I'll see you next time. Bye.